Camille Saint-Saëns was one of the great characters of music history. He lived to a very advanced age, lived from 1835 until 1921, and by the time he died, he was considered a little old hat, which is allowed if you live to that age and remain productive up to the end as he did. But he was an absolutely brilliant figure, vitally interested in all sorts of different domains apart from music, even Egyptology, the occult arts, astronomy, all sorts of different things. So he could really hold his own in the salons of Paris. Well, he wrote several symphonies, of which the Third Symphony is by far the most famous. It has the nickname of the Organ Symphony, and it was unveiled in the 1880s, which was a time of resurgence for the symphony as a genre in France. Symphonies were played in France at that time, but usually symphonies by German composers like Beethoven. Well, all of a sudden in the 1880s, French composers got very interested in writing symphonies of their own, and Saint-Saëns' Third is one of the crowning glories of that repertoire. The organ does indeed play a role in this symphony, and in taking the nickname of the Organ Symphony, I sometimes think that does a little bit of a disservice to the piece. Yes, the organ has an important role to play here, but for the most part, it's not more important than other instrumental sections, although there is a little part in the last movement where the organ can be depended on to raise all the listeners a couple of feet off their seats. Nonetheless, I think that some of my most favored parts of this symphony are not the organ parts themselves, but especially the most magical section. Towards the end, Saint-Saëns makes the extravagant demand of requiring not one but two pianists to play a piano part. Most symphonies don't even have a single piano part. This requires two players, and they play the most beautiful arpeggios just after this great organ thump. We get this passage with the two pianos, and I think it's one of the most beautiful passages, certainly in this symphony, and indeed in the whole orchestral repertoire. It's a masterstroke of orchestration.